Senator Abdullah Gomel, SSA to the President on National Assembly matters, says the Senate has now transmitted the confirmed list of ministerial nominees to President Bola Tinubu. 45 ministerial nominees screened. There are still some 3 on the waiting list for security clearance. It's day 71 of President Bola Tinubu's administration, and we are monitoring developments in its first 100 days. Thanks for joining us on the program. You can join the conversation right now on Twitter with the hashtag first 100 days. Remember to tag at TVC News NG and at Nifemi Oguntoye. Of the 48 names forwarded to the Senate by President Bola Tinubu for confirmation, there are 3 yet to be screened for security clearance. They include former Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, Stella Okotete from Delta State, and Abubakar Danladi from Taraba State. The confirmation of the others comes over a week after President Tinubu's transmission of a 28-member list to the Red Chamber on the 27th of July, and the other list followed suit. Now, the presidency has confirmed receipt of the confirmed ministers designate. We expect them to be sworn in immediately by the president, as is promised to hit the ground running. 9 women made the president's list, making 19% of the ministerial nominees, far away from the 35% that most women folk have talked about as affirmative action. But let's meet the woman who made this very much talked about list. Hannatu Musawa, nominee from Katsina State, was appointed special advisor to President Tinubu on culture and entertainment economy. She was the deputy spokesperson and deputy director of public affairs of the All Progressives Congress. Dr. Betta Edu, perhaps the youngest on the list at the age of 36, is from Cross River State, a medical doctor, former commissioner for health in Cross River, and until his appointment was national woman leader of the APC. I believe she's still leading in that capacity. Betta is APC national woman leader. She emerged APC national woman leader during the 2023 Nigerian general elections campaign, and she had also assured women of 35% affirmative action. In Keruka, Onyejocha, 54-year-old politician, ranking lawmaker in Nigeria's Federal House of Representatives. She was chairperson House Committee on Aviation, and she also made that list. Honorable Stella Okotete is aged 39, from Delta State, former APC woman leader. She was councillor in Hugeli North Local Council area, executive director of business development at the Nigerian Export-Import Bank. She's yet to be confirmed by the Senate, and we might have to wait till September when the 10th Senate reconvenes to hear the latest as regards our security screening. Honorable Uju Kennedy Oaneye is 50 years old. She's from Okan, Anambra State. She was perhaps the only woman who contested the APC presidential primaries. She's a lawyer and businesswoman. Lola Adejon is from Lagos, a seasoned information and technology expert, a leader in designing, integrating, deploying, and managing core systems for global banking institutions. And she's also one of those bright technocrats who made the list as a woman. There's Imam Sulaiman Ibrahim, a politician and businesswoman. She was Director General of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, LAPTIP. She held that position between the 1st of December 2020 to the 27th of May 2021, when former President Muhammadu Buhari announced a swap. And then she was redeployed as the Honorable Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons. Let's talk about Dr. Doris Anichi Uzoka. She was appointed Commissioner for Finance by Governor Hope Uzodinma in 2021, and she's considered one of the youngest on the Imo State Government Cabinet. Meriga Mahmood. Now, you can call this the last-minute appointment. She's the one who replaced Mariam Shetty, a nominee from Kano. In a very dramatic style, we understand that Mariam Shetty had arrived at the National Assembly when the Senate President made that shocking announcement. Meriga Mahmood started a legal career after completing her degree and fought for issues that intended to improve the lives of the poor and disenfranchised. There's still a lot of story to tell about what happened in Kano. We're hearing news from what the new APC chairman is talking about, the fact that he wasn't carried along with that particular nomination. Joining me now to discuss developments around these issues, I have APC chieftain Dr. Folashade Olabanji-Oba, who joins us via Zoom, and I'm joined in the studio by public affairs analyst Maxine Medoye. Thank you for joining us on the program.
It's my pleasure.
Great. So let's begin with what seems the obvious from this list, the fact that President Tinubu may now have set the record for the highest number of ministerial nominees in Nigeria's Fourth Republic at 48. What do you make of this number?
Well, you trust our president, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. He will not go for the less. He will not settle for less. So for him to pick these 48, he picked them based on his vision, his passion, and that which he intends to do for Nigerians. I don't think it's going to be to our advantage, to our disadvantage. Rather, it's going to be for the betterment of this country.
It's the highest number we've had since 1999.
Yes.
And some would say at such a time where it's obvious that government has to cut costs, particularly considering the economic impact of its decisions on the people.
People talk of cutting costs when it has to do with managers. There is difference between a manager and a leader. A manager manages resources, he wants to make exponential gain, but a leader look at the future because he wants to create a path to the future, a path to the unknown. That's a leader. And he will gather his people and those he wants, those who he think that can ensure the fulfillment of that vision. So our president is not just a combined these two. He's not just a manager, he's a leader. So he is doing what a leader should do, not necessarily just going to comply with the status quo and say, and it's not even cast in stone that we must have 39 or whatever ministers, that we cannot have 50 ministers if the leader deem it fit, that will be what will give him the vision that he wants to deliver for Nigeria. And I think that, to me, is just fantastic.
9 former governors and a significant number of senators and members of House of Reps, many of them who will now have to leave their positions to, join Mr. President's cabinet. We probably will now have to return to the polls to elect new lawmakers. What do you make of, 9 former governors, for instance, a governor becoming a minister?
My brother, experience cannot be overemphasized in leadership. The president is capitalizing on the experience of these people. And some of these governors we're talking about, they have their track record in service delivery. Wherever, when you look at them individually, you know that these are not pushovers. And this is not the time to try, not the time of trial and error. No, the president needs to do something differently, and he has to do it well. And to me, that is creative enough.
Let's bring Dr. Folashade Olabanji-Oba into this conversation. Dr. Folashade, prior to the election, you guys campaigned for Asiwaju with the promise that he will indeed activate the much talked about 35% affirmative action. We understand that the women have only occupied 13.7% of the ministerial positions since 1999. We only have 19% now. Are you disappointed?
No, because we're not done. The presidential campaign were promises made, and definitely we are trusting that when we make promises, if anybody knows the person of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we know that when he says something, he does it. So I know this is the ministerial, we still have so much more to go. At the end of the day, I am very sure that the women will be smiling.
So you saw what happened on the floor of the Senate where, Mariam Shetty's name was replaced. I'm just wondering if, when that news broke, you, for a minute, put yourself in Shetty's shoes, and what was running through your mind?
Well, every politics, they say, is local, okay? Rather unfortunate, but she was replaced by another woman, and that's because I'm, made to believe that the leaders wanted her in another position, and it wasn't something that was planned out, but it worked out better for the nominee from Kano State.
The news online was that she was already in the National Assembly complex when she got that news. She could have been called and notified, don't you think?
That's why I said every politics. That's why I said every politics is local, and that's one thing you're gonna have to give our president credit for, because the consultations and all that. It's like it's not just by himself. It is still the people. The people must win at the end of the day. And in good leadership, you must be sensitive and be hands-on on what your people want at the end of the day while making your decisions. And so they thought that, you must know that Kano State is a very rich cultural heritage center area. So whatever it is, the president had to give that to the leadership there.
All right, I'll get back to you, Dr. shortly. You saw the marathon at the Senate with the, screening exercise and all of the drama that ensued. What do you make of the conduct of this exercise? Would you say it's top-notch? Did we get the right questions? Did the lawmakers did they do due diligence?
Well, you see, the Senate screening is part of the screening that has started a long time before it gets to the Senate. Before the minister's name will be sent to the Senate, a lot of background check has already been done. The screening did not start with the senators. The screening started with the State Department, the DSS, the FCC, and all the other agencies that are involved. They will have done some background check and did what you just referred to now as due diligence. So it is after those ones have been concluded that the name will now be forwarded to the Senate. And when it gets to the Senate, the question that most Nigerians are expecting are some of these questions that have already been answered before their name goes to that place. So, and you see the senators will look at those positions, the position of the screening committees. I'm talking of those people that have already done their due diligence and then harmonize. It is when they see there is anything, they discover there is anything that is not too okay with them, that they can raise objection. That is when they would delay either the or defer confirmation or try to do some other things, return the name back to, that is it. But if they haven't found anything that warrant that, are you going to subject them to what kind of, they can't sit down there and start writing papers and all those type of things. No, that's not how, even in the developed countries, they still do the same thing. Once the president deems it fit to send names, and that name has passed through the DSS, the FCC, all other paraphernalia of power that's involved in screening of candidates for such ministerial, for such position, then the senators will definitely do what they have done, the needful. Public acceptance of source position.
Dr. Folashade, you saw the screening exercise yourself. It was streamed live. We also saw the dramatic turn of events, particularly with Dr. Tijani and Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. What do you make of that process? Nigerians are divided as to what happened with the senators. Would you say that we saw a screening exercise that performed better than previous ones?
Definitely. It's about accountability, transparency, and, the due process. I give it to them because obviously the elections and all that we went through this year was like no other. And you see the quality of our leaders in the Senate. I mean, I was really, really impressed. And then with Tijani, I know as a mother, for me, it would still be like, the forgiving spirit and all that. But it also makes us to know that whatever we do, hold your tough. But sometimes you don't get to hear, all the sides, in your reactions. So, but the president had promised all inclusive, everybody. So it is not just because you are from a party or whatever. Everybody that's got the best to offer Nigeria, if he believes in it, come on board. And I celebrate him for that.
All right. So you heard her talk about the, Dr. Tijani episode. There are some who are saying that, well, from his previous tweets, he possibly did not believe in this type of leadership.
Yeah.
But now he's brought on board to work with them. What are your expectations?
That's a challenge for that young man. And I think, you see, what you stay outside to see sometimes is not what play out when you get inside. Running a government is not just running your personal business. It's not the same thing at all. The same thing when you are in the state level or at the state level and you are just facing your state as one of the tiers of government is different from when you are at the federal level, where you have to deal with multifarious problems and all the complexities that federal government required. Now, as far as I'm concerned about Dr. Tijani, yeah, I will say, because I watched it live on TVC when he made that apology and all those stuff. Yes, he was being useful, but now he has been upgraded to the level of maturity where he has to take decisions, because after this confirmation, a lot is rested on his soldier now. He has to take decision, and we want to see how he will manage that position. And secondly, you see, activism and leadership is not the same thing. There are social activists and there is leadership. Activism, you can say anything, you can criticize even the moon and ask God, why do you put the moon in the night and sun in the day? But when you are in charge to take decision and to direct the course of the moon, it is then you will understand that it is better to have the moon in the night and have the sun in the day. So that's the difference. I believe the young man has realized now that leadership has called on him, and I love that what the president did by inviting some of these guys who he perceives has what it takes, the mental capacity, not just the mental capacity to criticize. You have been seen, he has been seen as a creative person. Let him come in. We need creativity in this government.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, we explore the expectation from the presidency now that the ministerial nominees have been confirmed. Stay with us. Public Affairs Analyst Maxine Medoye is here with me in the studio. I'm also joined by Dr. Folashade Olabanjioba via Zoom. All right, so it's 71st day. How do I put it now? It's now 71 days of the Tinubu administration. My expectation, like every other Nigerian, is that the president promised to hit the ground running. Now we have a list of confirmed ministers. The SSA to the President of National Assembly Matters has confirmed that that list has been received at the presidency. How soon do you expect them to be inaugurated, Dr. Folashade?
Well, as soon as possible. I would think in the next week or two. But definitely, if you see the past 71 days, like you said, you will know that he has been busy. The job of being the president of this great country of ours, obviously, is not an easy one. And so, and the way he's handled it, one good thing you will notice this time is this, transparency. Almost every day is being accounted for. You probably can know what he did this morning, in the afternoon, hands-on, because so many challenges that we had. And it's like we just have to learn to trust that we have somebody that is capable. And it's been tough with all the removal of subsidies and all that, but I know very soon, we'll get past all that.
In a week or two, for me, I would say, why wait a week or two? I mean, by tomorrow, next tomorrow, the minister should have been sworn in. We should understand their portfolios for a government that wants to hit the ground running. Come on.
He's already started doing that. The first thing he did was even the essay. So if you really look at it, the functionalities, so much is make sure that there is no room for anything there. But this is now like we're set and good to go. Like you said, it could be tomorrow morning. But also I'm being careful. I don't want to say tomorrow morning and you come back and say, what happened? I'm not in the president's mind. And so I just know that the soonest it will be.
Mr. Midori, what do you think?
I'm not expecting that to be long. I'm not expecting it to be more than highest 1 week from now. We should have the ministers and their portfolios together, and then the government commence. Besides this, the government has started immediately. In fact, on that day of the swearing in, that was when the man has hit the ground. And we all know all the things that he has done, because it's not hidden, except for those who refuse to acknowledge it. And even if they get to heaven, they will still try to raise questions where there is none. But I believe that as Nigerians, we have seen this. And what we need is to be patient with our president. He's doing well, he's on track, and I believe giving ministerial portfolios will not be a challenge.
Patience is nothing for Nigerians. It's just that Nigerians want to see the renewed hope that has been promised them. They want to be able to have the purchasing power when they go out there, want to be able to earn a good living, and then, get a better life for their children. And I think it's an honest ask for every hopeful Nigerian, particularly when you consider the promises that the APC brought forth before the election. But that's our time. Maxine Medoye, public affairs analyst, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Dr. Folashade Olabandioba, good to see you. And
thank you. Good to see you too.
We're also counting on what will happen in the coming days with this administration. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Nigeria rising. Yeah.
That's our show today. You can watch a repeat at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. See you again soon.